The future belongs to service providers who innovate without limits. That's why the fastest growing service providers are choosing the NetSapiens platform. Visit netsapiens.com.
Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I have with me today Eyal Simko, founder of CueTime. Eyal, thank you very much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So for those of you who are looking for a podcast not on AI and not on the controversy of AI or data centers or anything connected to data centers, this is the place. We're going to be doing something a little bit different for us. So let me get right into it. What is CueTime?
So CueTime is a smart stage timer, and it's built into your comfort monitor. And a confidence monitor with a built-in stage timer that's right above. And so you're capable to deploy these units in as little as 26 seconds, and then obviously allows you to reduce any clutter that you may have on stage for precision stage timing.
Now, I'll just start right here, so we'll make sure people do stick around. If I don't happen to own a theater or a venue, do I really need one?
Yes, absolutely. And so we work a lot with AV integrators who are putting these things in governments, who are putting these things in the academia industry. Also, if you're not a venue owner, you may be a production company who may be doing these events for these large scale companies. They're going to hold, once, twice a year, 3 times a year. If you're a rental house, if you're a production company, you may be doing, 800 of these things a year. So you're definitely going to want to utilize, this technology. Well, I think once we put it up on the screen and you get a visual of it, you'll have a little bit of understanding in terms of, why we kind of put this together and how this can sort of make you a lot more efficient in terms of, building this out and obviously running your entire show. So what you're seeing here is that's our elite model. And so as you can see, you have your confidence monitor. Some people call it comfort monitor. So either or. And then you have your built-in stage timer right above it. So you have one clean line of sight, and then you're able to send messages. You're able to, do count up, count down, different variations of time modes. And then you can obviously integrate that with Crestron, Q-SYS, Bitfocus Companion, and whatnot. And we have different types of models as well. This is intended to live off stage. We also have the low pro version. And then we also have just the Pro itself. That's just the timer. So actually, the AV integrators really love the Pro. So if you go down to the Pro, a lot of our AV integrator partners really like this Pro model. So in the academia industry, as I mentioned, a lot of schools, colleges, a lot of these have them installed in their classrooms. It is Crestron compatible, and they put that into their ecosystem or Q-SYS if they wanted to. And then they can basically, for exam time or for just any classroom session, if there's any, communication messaging that's needed, you're able to drive all that through these screens. So it's, very, very, they also have HDMI outs. And so you can connect these to any external monitors. And so now you can duplicate your timing and your messages across your entire campus.
So, while we're looking at this, I'm thinking I'm going to sort of backpedal for a second. I have a feeling that a lot of our readers, especially at the enterprise level, may not look at themselves as a venue management group. And yet on the campus of let's say the organization that they work for, there might be an area where there's actually a stage where they have gatherings,
Sure. Yeah.
where executives sometimes speak and so on. So this can be used outside of, let's say, the big annual event.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you think outside the box, right? And so when you're looking at, pun intended, actually, because we do sell box enclosures with downstage monitors and whatnot. But what I mean by think outside the box is any space that you use for potential meetings, for presentations and whatnot, is always going to need some sort of timing to stay on track and whatnot. And so, these devices certainly live in the spaces that you just mentioned. Right. We have some clients in the fintech where they put this in their conference rooms. so they can just stay on time, and it's not something that the meeting can drag on for a really long time. In government, they use this for voting, right? So you have 2 minutes of voting, and then they send messages out and let them know that it's time to to move on, or closing is finished. So it's definitely versatile outside of just having these large scale events in which we're talking about.
And it looks like there's some nice little built-in features. It looks like it has a little stand on the back there.
Yep, fully tilted. It also has a VESA mount, so if you wanted to mount that to anything, or just kind of put that into an enclosure and put it up on a wall, you can certainly do that as well. And everything is in the back. So as I mentioned, you have your USBs and your HDMI's out. They're all touch screen as well. They have OTA, so over the air firmware. So you're constantly running the latest and greatest. We have a team of developers that are constantly coming out with some new features and whatnot. And you get those over the air. So you don't have to plug that in. You don't have to do any software updates. It's pretty straightforward and convenient.
Now we're looking at the Elite.
This is the Elite LP. So this is the low pro version. So you can see here that it's quite low. It does not take a lot of real estate. And so if you're doing any iMag or whatnot, you don't have this really big enclosure standing in front of you. And that's intended to be either off stage or on stage. So that's the low pro version. And the first one that you guys saw, that's the Elite, that's just the regular one, that's intended to live off stage, and it's angled perfectly for someone who's standing on stage looking directly down.
Interesting. Anything else you want to tell us about this product?
About the LP, or just in general?
I noticed you're showing different functionality here for off stage, on stage, and so on.
Correct. Yeah. And so, these devices are meant to be extremely versatile, right? So owning an event production agency for the past 25 years, we've seen it all. We've done it all. Anything from, intimate events all the way to, 15,000 people, large conferences and whatnot. And so we've developed 3 different models to make sure that it fits within your environment at any given moment. And so this particular one is intended to live off stage. You can see that we can send messages onto the screen as well in a very, non-intrusive way. A lot of the times speakers, they don't really want you to take over their real estate. And so they don't want to pip in a time or pip in any messages on top of where their notes are. So the versatility really comes with, you can use this with any device, whether it's wired or wireless. You can use it, globally. We just had our first international use case about 2 months ago, where the show director or producer was in Japan, and the actual event took place in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And so, again, when you're talking about networking and whatnot, all of our units are touchscreen. All of our units have their own built-in hotspot. So if you're in a forest and you have 0 internet connection, you don't need it. It's fine. You can connect your phone, tablet, laptop, any device virtually, Android, iOS. You can connect directly to its own hotspot and do it wirelessly like that. They're all PoE. So, one cable, you power up the entire thing. And like I mentioned, this is the fastest deployed comfort monitor with a built-in stage timer. So this entire thing can be deployed within 26 seconds from the time it's in its flight case to the time it's fully operational. So nothing exists like this on the market in terms of just framework, and in terms of efficiency, in terms of how fast you can build. So imagine you have multiple events, right? Or multiple rooms, breakout rooms and whatnot. You're doing these conferences when there's like 15 different rooms, spending 26 seconds to a minute, let's just say, per room, versus the traditional 15 to 20 minute setup. You can see how efficient and how much time you can shave off. So you're saving money on labor. You're less clutter on stage. You're, much more advanced in terms of the features. You can pre-populate the entire thing before even getting to a show. A lot cleaner. One cable, you don't have all these messy cables for your stuff, for your timer, and your confidence monitors and power and whatnot. So we've sort of thought about, how do we streamline the process for the back of house, for the production guys, make it cleaner and sleeker and more efficient. But then also, how do we increase the experience, or enhance, I should say, the experience for the presenters? And that's where CueTime comes in.
Very interesting. And I'm sort of stuck on the idea of also the off-stage people can communicate with the person on stage seamlessly. I noticed it said talk into the microphone, speak louder.
Right.
Also imagine if there's issues with the PowerPoint, you can communicate and
Absolutely.
say, hey, the audience can't see the slides or something like that.
Right. You have a clean way to have a one-way communication that's non-intrusive and, just, very feels just very natural. Right. And so, for example, I won't name the actual client, but, one of our clients, a Fortune 100 company in the cloud space, does their AI annual roadshow. And so they go around all of America and basically do their AI roadshow and kind of talk about all the latest and greatest, right? The CEO is fantastic, an incredible speaker. We never have any notes for him. He just projects very well, owns the stage, walks around, never looks at his notes. Like he like eats, breathes, and lives the stage. Like he's phenomenal. But we're in New York. This is last week. We're in New York and he does the rehearsals. Everything's fine. And as soon as the show hits, as soon as it starts, and this is all for investors, by the way. So it's highly targeted investors to talk about their finance and their Q4s and whatnot. He freezes and he's just on one side of the stage, and the director runs to us and says, "Hey, he needs to start moving around. This looks very, very odd." And so, within 5 seconds, we just said, "Please roam the stage." Boom, sent it. And very seamlessly, he just starts roaming the stage in a very, very, organic manner, right? As if nothing happened, right? So the audience never understood that something was wrong, and we were able to sort of correct that experience on stage. And so it's a huge, huge benefit for, someone like us in the front of house who need to sort of correct something or deliver a message to the speaker while they're delivering their message to the audience. It's a huge benefit.
Eyal, so as we wrap up our brief podcast today, is this also an opportunity for the MSPs and the channel partners?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think you need to be creative in terms of how you see the product being utilized. As I mentioned, right now there are colleges all around the U.S. that have implemented QTime in all their classrooms via Crestron. We have banking institutions that have this in their conferences, conference rooms, I should say. So I think there is a lot of opportunity here. We have a whole vertical dedicated strictly just for the integrators, and then we have it for the actual market for production. So I absolutely believe that there's synergy here for them.
Where can we learn more?
Yeah, if you go to the website, it's QTime.io. So it's CUETIME.io. There we go. If you go there, you'll be able to browse our whole website. You can do a demo as well, right on the hero header, right on the top. You can try it for free. Put in your information. It'll take you into the software platform, and then you can kind of play around with it. I will say the caveat with that free demo is it doesn't give you all of the features. We do have a lot of integrated features like your assistant show director. You have logs, a lot of cloud-based features as well that people can take advantage of. But it'll give you a good understanding in terms of how it's laid out, because it's really built to be a very, very simple, intuitive platform.
And the big takeaways that I got today is that not only, the seamless operation, it works so quickly out of the box. You set it, you turn it on, I guess it starts communicating. You hang it off the Wi-Fi, your phone's on the Wi-Fi, it communicates that way.
Yeah, right away, right? So it has like we use OTC, which is like a one-time code, just to claim that screen.
Mhm.
That way, you don't have any people who are trying to sabotage or accidentally take over your screen and start sending messages or whatnot. But other than that, yeah, as I mentioned, 26 seconds from the time it's in its flight case to the time it's deployed on stage, ready to go. So it is the fastest deployed conference monitor and stage timer technology. And again, it has 3 different options. You can go wired, you can do Wi-Fi, or you can just do its own internal hotspot. They're all touch screen. So a lot of different ways to sort of connect, interact, and execute.
Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Hope to hear more about this in the future. Thanks for also giving us a respite from nonstop agentic AI.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Innovate without limits, scale without compromise, and never pay per seat again. Discover why providers choose netsapiens.com